All right, I'm with Dan Johnson of the Long Island Ducks. Dan, you spent your first 8 years of your career with the Oakland Athletics, 4 of them in the big leagues with them. How did Oakland help in your development as a player? And talk about the extended opportunity they gave you in the major leagues.
I think I was kind of the prototypical Oakland player. I was a guy that took a lot of pitches, walked a lot, and had some pop. So I think I fit their mold, better than most guys that are drafted. And just the opportunity there. It's a place where I learned a lot and got into become the player I was.
Yeah. After that, you spent a few seasons with Tampa Bay Rays with a stop in Japan in '09. Tampa is really where you made a name for yourself. You had the knack for the dramatics over there. I mean, '08, the home run off Papelbon, 2010 walk-off against the Red Sox, game-tying home run against the White Sox, and, of course, 11 against the Yankees. I mean, that one's pretty special, last day of the year. Which moment stands out to you the most, and why?
I would say obviously game 162 because there was so much riding on it.
Yeah.
It was a season full of turmoil and the ninth game getting hit in the hand, crushing the ulnar nerve and breaking your wrist, but still continuing to play due to the fact that somehow the doctor says that if you don't use that nerve, you lose that nerve. So instead of casting it up, I just kept playing, trying to play, I should say. I wasn't really playing, but it was a rough year, and then being able to be fortunate enough to put the exclamation point on the end, so it kind of was like a bittersweet moment.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to know you had such an impact on an organization like you did for Tampa? Because even at the Trop, there's a seed called the Dan Johnson seed where that home run landed. So what does that mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, to be remembered for anything is great, especially in this game. Players come and go, but if you can leave some kind of legacy behind, or anything that you leave behind that is remembered is something special.
Yeah. After that, you bounced around teams a little bit: Chicago, New York, Baltimore, Toronto, just to name a few. I want to go back to a moment you had with Chicago, though. Last game of the year, 3 home runs in one game. How did the swing feel that day? And talk about seeing the ball leave the yard 3 times. That must have been pretty cool for you.
Yeah. No, it was a good feeling. Especially I started off the count. I think it was 1-2 in my first at bat. I think somewhere around there, and then the hands really worked well, and I hit it well, and got a homer out of it. And then the next time up, feeling like I was kind of in control of the at bat and getting it, and then. The manager, Robin Ventura at the time, he was out for a mound visit, and he reminded me that he just told me, he goes, Longo hit his 3rd one over in Tampa. He's like, you got to go for it. And that was in the 8th, and I was coming up in the 9th, and I was like, kind of laughing about it, because I think every time I've ever tried to hit a home run, I've never done it. And that time I actually tried to hit a home run, and it went out, and it was like crazy feeling. First time in my career I've ever hit 3.
Yeah, that's awesome. Last year, you started the year with Houston Astros at spring training, traded to Cincinnati, traded to St. Louis before you got the big league call up there. Talk about your experience with the St. Louis Cardinals, though, to play in the big leagues with them, and that's a historic franchise over there.
That franchise is awesome. It's one of my top franchises I played for. They do it right. Like they preach within, about winning, and they've really developed guys in that system. It's a top-class ran organization, and then the fans were phenomenal. I mean, it was like a college football game every game. It was phenomenal. It was just a pleasure to play there.
That's awesome. So right now you're playing in the Atlantic League. You're playing as a position player, and then I know you're working hard to be a knuckleball pitcher. Why did you decide this season was the year to convert to being a knuckleball pitcher? Because just last year, less than a year ago, you're playing in the big leagues as a position player. So why this year?
Because I feel like my time as a position player, being able to be impactful for a full season up there is probably not going to not happen very much without injuries. The days of having the bench guy come off the bench and hit homers is kind of gone now. They want guys that can play multiple positions and be able to play the middle infield, play outfield, that type of thing. And so knowing that, what I've gotten feedback in the past about this knuckleball is being so good that, I wanted to try it out for myself. And having the opportunity with Tampa to sign with them and getting the opportunity to actually pursue it. And then, obviously I ran into some drawbacks with an injury and not be able to throw for a while. And now, just getting my feet wet out here and learning so much and seeing the improvement that I've gotten so far. it really makes me think that there's a chance at this, like to make something, and why not prolong your career if you can. I mean, the shelf life of a knuckleball player is a lot longer than it is as a position player.
Yeah, definitely. So this season you started with the Bridgeport Bluefish before being traded over to Long Island Ducks. I know you faced former teams many times before in your career, but do you think it will be a little strange facing Bridgeport as an opponent? Because just last week you're on the home side over there. A week later you're back here as an opponent in the orange and black. So talk about that a little bit.
It's a same game. Like you just got to go about your business, and then after the game you talk. Like you're all buddies again. But once you start the game, it's you play for the team that's on your jersey, and great guys, but things weren't working out for me over there, so I needed to make a change, and I'm over in Long Island now, and trying to make the best of it.
Last couple questions for you. Toughest hitter, toughest pitchers for you in the majors? Any that come to mind?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, you get to the big leagues, you got something going for you. So I mean, there's countless. I mean, to be able to pick one, and it would be like impossible, I'd say, because there's so many guys that are good.
Similar question. Any favorite major league ballparks you like playing in that really stand out?
Oh man, yeah. Okay. Well, I like the new Yankee Stadium for hitting wise. It's a great place to hit. The old Yankee Stadium was awesome too, just because of the lure. Same with Boston, just because of the history that was there. But another new ballpark was Minnesota's, and that was a beautiful ballpark, great setup. But it's not great for left-handed hitters. Yeah. As far as hitting wise, I'd go with New York, and as far as like feel wise and look, I'd go with Minnesota also.
All right. Dan, thanks so much. Appreciate it. All the best to you in your journey back to the majors.
All right, thanks.